I was so excited for Girl Rules, maybe more excited than I should have been. Even with my issues with Only Friends, I still thought the concept had potential. A messy sapphic ensemble drama directed by Jojo Titchekorn, starring some of the biggest names in GMMTV on paper. It sounded impossible to mess up. You have MILKLOVE, you have NAMTANFILM, you have VIEWMIM, you have cameos from so many GMMTV girls. You have a cast full of actresses who have already proven they deserve and can carry a series like this. And yet somehow, after all the hype, all the delays, and all the anticipation, Girl Rules ends up a show that never figured out what it wanted to be. Exactly like Only Friends, they somehow didn't improve on the concept. They actually got worse. The frustrating thing is that I don't actually think the series is as confusing as some people make it out to be. One criticism I kept seeing throughout its run was that the characters were inconsistent, that nothing made sense, that the story was all over the place. And while I understand where those reactions came from, I don't completely agree. Most of the characters are actually fairly consistent. Their motivations are usually clear. The show tells us why people make the choices they make. Narratively, it isn't that difficult to follow. The problem is that understanding something and feeling something are two very different things. By the end of Girl Rules, I understood what most of the characters wanted. I just didn't always care as much as the show wanted me to. That's because the series spends so much time introducing emotional conflicts that it forgets to build emotional foundations. The show tackles coming out, family acceptance, exploitation, mental health struggles, trauma, self-worth, friendship, bisexuality, toxic relationships, and more. None of these are bad ideas. In fact, many of them would be so interesting and entertaining if they knew how to write it. The problem is that Girl Rules tries to tackle every important issue possible all at once, but does not spend enough time with any of them to leave a lasting emotional impact. It's less like good interconnected storytelling and more like collecting heavy topics because it thinks having them automatically makes the story deeper. The series mistakes having themes for developing themes. Every storyline feels like it begins right before it gets interesting and ends before it reaches its full potential. That same issue extends to the relationships. The show constantly tells us how important people are to one another, how down bad the girls are for someone, but it rarely gives us enough time to truly sit with those relationships before the drama begins. A lot of the emotional payoff feels unearned because we never fully experience the emotional setup. The series needed more friendship moments, more relationship moments, more opportunities to understand why these people mattered so much to each other before asking us to care about who ends up with who. Ironically, this is why I think some viewers walked away feeling like the story didn't make sense. Because emotionally, sometimes it doesn't. Not because the plot is confusing, but because the show just kind of skips over the parts that would make us feel connected to what's happening. And nowhere is that more obvious than in the pacing. Conflicts appear and disappear incredibly quickly. Problems get introduced, solved, reintroduced, and solved again. Characters spend episodes arguing about the same issues only for those issues to suddenly disappear when the story needs them to. Episodes 4 through 8 at least felt like things were building towards something. Then the last few episodes undo their own momentum. Development gets reset, conflicts return, characters reach emotional conclusions that don't always feel earned by what came before. By the time the finale arrives, everyone seems to have reached the emotional destination before the audience has finished the journey. The payoff arrives before the setup is complete. And that's what makes the show feel so directionless, not because nothing happens, but because everything happens. Girl Rules wants to be about toxic relationships, friendship, family, trauma, self-discovery, mental health, queer identity, celebrity culture, and personal growth all at the same time. Instead of strengthening each other, those ideas compete for space. The result is a show that constantly feels busy but rarely feels impactful, which is so damn frustrating because the cast is not the problem. If anything, the cast is the reason people stayed invested. Film brought emotional weight to Bambi that the script completely struggled to provide on its own. MILKLOVE remained compelling throughout the series. View continues to prove why she's one of the most employed and longest-running actresses in the company. Everyone involved did the job they were asked to do. The failure happens higher up at the script level. And unfortunately, that weakness becomes even more obvious when the show starts discussing queer identity. One of the biggest problems with Girl Rules is its reliance on exposition. Characters constantly explain everything to the audience like, we are stupid. They explain what they're feeling. They explain the theme. They explain the lesson. They explain the point. These are not conversations real people would ever have. It's the writers stopping the story to explain concepts directly to the audience. It's ridiculous and a problem across so many shows, but especially something I notice in all of JoJo's works. This is particularly noticeable whenever the series discusses sexuality and identity. The issue isn't that these conversations exist, obviously. The issue is that they rarely feel natural. The dialogue is always just announcing ideas, never exploring them. Characters throw terminology around, define concepts for each other, and spell out meanings that the audience has already understood. Rather than allowing themes to emerge through character interactions, the show chooses to spell them out like the audience is 5 years old. It's a problem that appears throughout the entire series, not just in one storyline. And the subtitles made these scenes even worse, and I don't even blame whoever did the translations, to be honest. The dialogue is already so clunky in Thai, it would be hard to find the right words in English. It unintentionally makes these scenes come across even more ridiculous than they already are. For a show so interested in discussing lesbian experiences, the conversations don't feel particularly lived in. Min's bisexuality is handled in such a weird way. Every time a character has a conversation with her about sexuality, it is written so badly I genuinely couldn't believe queer people were behind the project. It started to come across as biphobic. And I don't think they were intending that. It is just written so badly, it seriously seems homophobic. Another factor that complicated the show's reception was everything surrounding the production itself. Before Girl Rules aired, frustrations had already started building. The show spent basically 2 years in development. During that time, updates were inconsistent and fans became increasingly impatient. Now, I really don't give a fuck about teaser photos, Twitter updates, or behind-the-scenes posts. I don't know how much impact those things really have on a show's success, but GMMTV has made that type of promotion part of the job. Every production has dedicated social media accounts. Every production is expected to keep audiences engaged while they wait. So when some shows receive constant updates while others seem forgotten, fans are inevitably going to notice. And because GL Productions have a history of fighting for scraps compared to other projects, I understand why fans were frustrated. What I don't understand is how quickly some of that frustration turned into harassment. JoJo is the face of the production and ended up receiving a level of personal abuse that crossed the line long before the series even premiered. People were calling him slurs. People weaponized the fact that he's a gay man creating lesbian characters. People attacked him personally rather than criticizing the work itself because the work wasn't even finished yet. None of that is acceptable. Criticism is absolutely always fair. I have plenty of that for JoJo and his team. Disappointment is fair. Making jokes about a show you dislike is fair. They can even be mean jokes sometimes. Listen, I'm a hypocrite, but I'll admit it. I will joke about directors and their shows being bad every day of the week. But homophobia and personal attacks like that will never make sense to me. It's a TV show. Please calm down. Separating those two things is important because I do think many of the criticisms directed at the series itself are valid. The writing is weak, the pacing is inconsistent, the dialogue is so unnatural. The production quality is surprisingly rough for a project of this scale. The audio quality in particular continues a pattern I've noticed across multiple JoJo productions. Dialogue is frequently muffled, music is often mixed too loudly, and emotional scenes sometimes lose impact because of technical issues that should have been fixed long before airing. The editing can feel awkward. The camera work often swings between extreme close-ups and strangely distant shots. At times, it feels like the production is more concerned with looking stylish than creating emotional impact. Even with the dialogue, they always look for a sassy, trendy way of saying things, and it's never done well. Girl Rules is just so frustrating to me. Not because it's the worst GL ever made, it's far from it actually. All roads lead back to blank. Not because it's impossible to understand. Not because the actresses failed. If anything, the actresses are the reason so many people stayed until the end. It all comes from potential. This cast deserved a better show. This concept deserves a better show. Only Friends and Girl Rules will always annoy the crap out of me. You got given the perfect opportunity to make something so fun and dramatic and great, and this is what we got. 3 times over, and nothing improved. And 2 years of development, this production deserved a stronger script than the one it ended up with. More than anything, Girl Rules feels like a symptom of a larger problem, a growing tendency to prioritize aesthetics, star power, and fandom appeal before making sure the foundation underneath is actually strong enough to support them. Because when the finale ends, the strongest feeling Girl Rules leaves behind isn't anger, it isn't heartbreak, it isn't satisfaction. It's the feeling of watching a show with all the right ingredients somehow never come together. Not a disaster, not a masterpiece. Just another one of the biggest missed opportunities GMMTV's lineup has produced so far.